I'm Shelby Bonney, and I'm the host of the Innovator series, brought to you by Technology for Obama. And I'm here with Sukanta Ganguly, who's the CTO of Taking Points. Pleasure to be with you.
Thank you.
So Sukanta has experienced a lot, been involved in a lot of different companies within the enterprise and networking space, and is also an innovator himself. So it's such a great pleasure to be with you. I wanted to talk briefly about kind of innovation in this country. So I think for many people, innovation is viewed as kind of a core strength and something that we do uniquely well. Not to say it doesn't happen other places, but we do it really well. If you were giving advice to either kind of business executives and or government officials on what steps they would take to make sure it remains a core strength of this country, what advice would you give?
I think one thing that what we have seen a little bit of a decline given the economic conditions of the world is the amount of research emphasis. A lot of it was driven by the government. That is the quintessential existence of creativity of this country, and it's been there for decades and decades. That will never go away. Today, the economy has been built up in such a manner that there are companies and private corporations which are taking some of the responsibility because the government is not in the position to handle some of these things. I would strongly encourage those kind of viewpoints to be critical viewpoints which are discussed in the assembly.
And these are investments in research grants and all sorts of other things that we may not see the benefit of for 20 years.
Yes, exactly, because what happened 6, 10, 15 years ago is what we are actually reaping now. And what happens now, my child would do. I have a 13-year-old and I have all hopes that she becomes 10 times bigger entrepreneur than I am. Some of the things that I could not accomplish, I won't want her to accomplish. So I want the system to invest in the future citizens of this country. And we, as citizens ourselves, have a significant responsibility doing that, and we are trying to do as much as possible. We need some help from the government. We want the government to kind of help us in growing these things, help us augmenting these research work. Some of it is tactical research, some of them are strategic research, but at the end of the day, it only strengthens and brings more value for this country across the whole globe. So it is very important to not lose focus on these elements which are key drivers at home for this country.
And so what other, so continue, a lot of investment in core research. What other things, so what other advice would you give? Education
is another big element which is important to me, and I've seen that even though you don't need a degree to do a startup today, whether it is a biotech startup or a software tech startup or a clean tech startup, there is knowledge out there. What education builds is discipline, just like the startup that I'm doing right now, where people in the military go through certain types of discipline training, and it is quintessential for the trade that they will participate in. The same thing actually happens in the business world. There is a little bit of rigor and discipline that the school brings into system. I would strongly encourage and, request all the other entrepreneurs, people who have been successful, people who have been doing things in the education space, to proliferate that information. If you proliferate that information, it makes it stronger. It makes the next generation stronger. Reasoning, discipline, learning, creating new ideas are things that you build out of small basics that you pick up in your 8th grade and 10th grade and 12th grade and college. It is important for the system to support that.
And what about, I'm curious about immigration, because you came as an immigrant to this country, and I know that, I think for a lot of people, there's been enormous job creation that's come out of the immigrant movement.
Absolutely.
Are there things that the government isn't doing, it should be doing with respect to immigration?
Yes, I have, I came from India. I immigrated. I went through the process of getting my work visas, my green card, my citizenship. And in this process, there were some good experiences and some bad experiences. Some bad experiences because of some short-sighted individuals involved in the system. I think it is important for the government to understand the value that the immigrant community brings and figure out what portion of the value actually helps making this country better, wider, stronger. If you look at the history of the United States, majority of the population has been immigrant at some point or the other. Over the last 10, 15 years, we have seen much of the pain that people have realized in the immigration. And in the last 5, 6 years, if you have seen how the visas and the dates and the retrogressing of dates and stuff like that, that's been happening. It is important to go beyond that and beyond the fact that jobs are being taken away, because they're not being taken away. They're actually, if if government helps, and the people, the citizens of the country needs to support that as well. If that is brought into picture, the strength, the power, the monetary strength, the knowledge, the IP, the patents, this actually makes this country stronger and stronger. So it is actually creating more jobs in the longer run rather than assuming that the jobs are taken away. This country has built over time. The country has been created over innovation. Let's not lose focus on that.
Yeah, well, that's a great note to end on. So it's been a great pleasure talking to you, and we look forward to talking more. So thank you so much.
Thank you.